It happened on a Friday night. I had been invited to a small gathering at my girlfriend's apartment with some of her close friends. I didn't know everyone there, but I tried to make a good impression, offering smiles, small talk, and a willingness to engage. Everything seemed normal at first. Then, during dinner, she leaned in and whispered something that made me uncomfortable. I brushed it off, thinking it was just a fleeting comment. But moments later, in front of everyone, she snapped. Her voice was loud enough for the entire room to hear. "You can't even satisfy me, let alone provide for me like I deserve." The words hit me like a punch to the chest. The room fell silent. Friends exchanged awkward glances, unsure how to react. My first instinct was anger. I wanted to shout, to defend myself, to call out the humiliation. But then I paused and took a deep breath. I realized that my response in that moment would define not just the evening, but how I allowed myself to be treated moving forward. I looked at her calmly, meeting her gaze without raising my voice. "I understand," I said quietly. She blinked, clearly thrown off. "Understand? You're not even trying to defend yourself." "I do understand," I repeated. "I understand that you have expectations I cannot, and will not, meet. And I understand that respect is important in any relationship. Right now, I don't feel respected. So I think it's best if we step back and reassess what this relationship really means." Her friends shifted uncomfortably, some trying to break the tension with nervous laughter, but I held my ground. My calmness seemed to unsettle her more than any argument could have. After a moment, she scoffed and tried to regain control of the situation. "You think you can just sit there and act unaffected? You should be embarrassed." "I am not embarrassed," I said steadily. "I am disappointed, yes, but embarrassment is something you earn by compromising your dignity. I have chosen not to do that tonight. You are free to think what you want, but I will not accept public humiliation as a standard in our relationship." The room remained quiet. Her friends seemed unsure whether to intervene or stay silent. I realized that by keeping my composure, I had shifted the power in the room. She had intended to dominate the conversation, to make me appear small, but instead, her own words highlighted her insecurity and immaturity. That night, I didn't yell, I didn't storm out, and I didn't beg for apologies. I simply excused myself politely, saying I needed some air. Once outside, I felt the weight of tension lift. I realized something crucial. True respect in any relationship cannot be demanded, it must be mutual. And if someone tries to manipulate or belittle you, walking away is far more powerful than fighting back in anger. Over the following days, I reflected on the incident. I realized that her public outburst wasn't just about me, it was about her own insecurities and her inability to communicate effectively. I began to understand that a relationship built on humiliation and manipulation could never lead to genuine connection. Eventually, I had a private conversation with her. I explained calmly that I valued myself too much to accept public disrespect, and that if our relationship were to continue, boundaries and mutual respect were non-negotiable. She was defensive at first, but my calm and firm stance made it clear that I would not bend. In the end, the incident became a turning point. It taught me that humiliation is not a tool for love, and that composure and self-respect carry more power than anger ever could. By staying calm, I not only protected my dignity but also made her see that trying to control or belittle me would no longer work. From that night onward, our dynamic changed. Conversations became more honest, and while some friction remained, she gradually learned that respect could not be taken for granted. And I learned that in moments of public challenge or shame, the most powerful response is often quiet strength rather than reactive emotion. That evening, what could have been a complete humiliation turned into a lesson in self-worth and composure. It reminded me that dignity isn't something you give to anyone else, it's something you choose to preserve, no matter how uncomfortable the situation might be.